我是粉内，我是 Suzy，
我是 Phil，
我们是一个跨流派的音乐组合。那等一下我们会介绍我们今年5月23号发行的 Parallel Heart EP， 那中间有一首歌叫 Infection。So Infection the song is about PUA. Have you heard about PUA? 就是有一种虽然对方对你很好，但其实不一定是真正的友情或者是爱情，可能我们陷入了一段有点 toxic 有毒的关系之中。那我们等一下会剖析每一段主歌副歌每一个乐器使用的过程。Yeah, let's listen to Infection.
Let's do it. All right, so here we have the session for Infection. It's a pretty big session. I think altogether this song is about 50 gigabytes. You'll see here all the sessions from recording to editing and demos and mixing and mastering are all here. So let's get started. So this is the intro. The intro a little bit with the first verse. I guess I should probably talk about the inspiration behind the song first. So we had met, Suzy and I had met an artist named Abus, and I believe Abus introduced us to Amuyi. So that's the feature artist on this track. And we were talking about different vibes and different kind of songs that she wanted to work on, and she sent me 2 different references, so I'll play a little bit of each. This is one reference here. So that's a song by St. Vincent, I'm pretty sure. And I took some elements. Obviously the vibe is totally different. But as far as like maybe some of the bass sounds and just like the percussion sounds and stuff like that, I used a little bit of the same tones. And the other reference, which is more of the actual vibe of the song, was a house song. And I'll play a little bit of that one. So the house song is a little bit more dancey, but the tones of the instruments are more old school. So I went with the vibe and like speed of the house track, but I included like some of the more modern tones and stuff from the St. Vincent reference. And then listening to both of these kind of reminded me of Michael Jackson. So I was just kind of recalling some of Michael Jackson's old songs from memory and like how percussion and guitar and stuff like that are so important. So in the production, you'll see that I've used a lot of those different elements. As far as the intro that I showed you earlier, I do tend to kind of always build things up. So you can have like a small build up and then everything just comes in with a synthesizer that's like, I'll show you guys how I made that as well. So one of the cool elements that is really used in this song, and it's kind of an old school sound, is the synthesizer stab. Yeah, so that's 4 layers of different synthesizer sounds. So you'll hear that song, that sound pretty much throughout the entire song, and you can kind of hear the different layers behind it. It's layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and layer 4. And those were all made on the machine here. The reason you don't see MIDI is because Pro Tools and MIDI are not the best. So I usually do all the MIDI first and then record to audio and then put it back into the session. It's a lot easier to manage on Pro Tools. I didn't really pick a song as far as like the Michael Jackson reference because I've listened to so much Michael Jackson. Both my mother and father like to listen to Michael Jackson, and we would go to parties and stuff, and when they play Michael Jackson, me and my parents would dance together. And so like the elements that I was remembering from some Michael Jackson songs, it could be any Michael Jackson song as long as it's like his disco or funk music. Just obviously I didn't take from his like soft and sad music for this particular project, but a big thing for me is the percussion on those Michael Jackson songs. Always has a huge layer of percussion, and you'll hear some of the sounds now. So just without any other tracks, it's kind of already setting up the groove of things. And because the regular percussion like kick, snare, hi-hat, all of that stuff is pretty much just like straightforward. So you have the kick on all the downbeats, snare in between, and then that's kind of a steady, like strong structure. But it's not what actually sets up the groove, like the danceability. It's always gonna be like the percussion and things happening in between.
I think it reminds me of Thriller.
Sure, yeah. Maybe some elements from Thriller or even Billie Jean. Doom, 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 doom. Any of those songs, I think, has some really cool percussion ideas. And then, so like along with the snare, there's like a layered clap. And my clap, I don't like to have the same exact sounding samples. So like the first clap might be one clap sample, the second clap is another one, and then like I will always use multiple samples because if it's the same exact clap happening the whole time, it feels digital, it feels robotic, it doesn't feel human to me anymore. So I try not to use the exact same clap sound. So this is one clap sound. This is another one. And then this is another. And then layered together, you kind of have the different feeling, different reverb and stuff. And then layer that with the kick and snare. So the kick is always on that 1, 2, 3, 4, always. And the snare is right on top. And then the claps come in, not every time, but sometimes, depending on where we are in the track. Just that alone, and then adding in all the percussion in between, you'll start to feel like you want to dance. So that's kind of a lot of how the percussion sounds, and I think I have some hi-hat tracks here too. Let me see these. So there's hi-hat on the upbeat. You can hear that hi-hat on the upbeat. So that sets up really the entire groove of the song. The next most important thing, I think, percussion and drums and bass. Really, with funk and disco, if your bass and drums are not the main point, then it's not funk and disco anymore. So the first bass line I came up with, again, that's on the Machine Studio. So that kind of like distorted bass, that came from the St. Vincent kind of vibe. I liked how their bass was kind of had this high frequency distortion on it. And then I wanted to put some kind of old school feeling. So I layered another bass to play in between. And I'll add that in now. So that's you can hear like a wobble wobble in between the distorted bass. And then I have 5 layers of different bass here. Here's the next layer. So as soon as we kind of get out of the intro and into the next verse, the bass line completely changes tone and notes. So that is super Michael Jackson to me. I feel like that's where a lot of the Michael Jackson inspiration came into play here. Just like how the bass is on the upbeats and stuff like that. It's super, super groovy.
Initially, Infection is a song about like someone get kind of a PUA, 大家被 PUA 的感觉，然后 and then you want to dance groove and sweat it out. So we want to be like St. Vincent, what we just heard. St. Vincent, a different genre, make people dance. Like 你好像舒压的感觉 and dance it out. So when Phil mentioned all the layer of the instrument, we also work with a different top liner. 吕强他有跟我们一起写，然后其中还有瑞发 Riva， 然后写中文词的还有是曼宁跟我们一起写。虽然我们唱的是中文，但是又有 Michael Jackson，and then you wanna sweat it out 那个 feeling， 想要跳。Yeah.
And this kind of comes in when I start rapping on like the second half of my rap. It just kind of like makes things a little faster, kind of switches up the groove a little bit. Everything should be in and out of each other. When it comes to like groove and stuff, it's not everything together. There's another layer of bass. And then it might be similar in the chorus. Yeah, and then there's one last layer of bass. So this one is just this kind of like ending to the verse going into the hook, this like really fat bass line. And I think it goes well with the kind of fast-paced bass. So those are sidechained to each other, or else I would have just way too much bass happening in the song. And then the hook comes in here, I think. So one cool thing is Susie came up with one of these lines on the Roland Juno synth. I think it was the 106. To my phone, so don't call me. And there's like a lot of things that happen like maybe 1 time or 2 times in the whole song. This is one thing that happens like I think 2 times in the whole song. And that's on this section here. So it's just kind of like in there. Like when you're listening with headphones, you can hear it a little bit more, and then you kind of like realize like, oh, that's a sound that I didn't hear before.
Yeah, and I think that complement with the chorus, because the chorus I wrote 2 top line. Kind of feel like 2 people are singing with each other, not like harmony. So I wanted like feel like 2 people are both dancing on the dance floor with their own world. So then I think kind of go with the arrangement, create a different like synth to kind of comprehend like the section.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's important that people know when we're leaving the verse and feeling the buildup of each section and just like all the elements of the production have to match the feeling of the melody and lyrics and everything that's going on. So this is like a super like retro synth sound here. Also Machine Studio. And then I added some. This one is actually, I think it was something I saw on Splice a long time ago. It didn't fit the tempo or the key or anything, so I had to like change the key, change the tempo, and then EQ it and compress it to kind of like give me this weird movement that's happening.
Wavy.
Yeah, it's kind of going
in and out.
Yeah, like the dynamics is not the same all the way through. That arpeggiator is also from the Juno as well. And then back to the intro, that's also the Juno. That was just like a tiny little thing that Susie had added in there, like right at the end. And the next group of instruments that really is popping in this time frame of like disco and funk is guitar. So there's no way I could do this without guitar in here. Most of this guitar is gonna be samples just because I don't have my guitar here with me in Taiwan and I've been too lazy to get it, so. Here are some different guitar samples, and I also used Machine Studio on some of these guitars because it's impossible sometimes on Splice to find everything what you want to fit in the song. So I did have to use some Machine Studio guitar and then make it sound as real as possible, which takes a lot of editing. So that's one guitar line, and I think I ran it through a Sans amp plugin to make it sound more distorted and gritty. And that's another layer. This is going into the hook or in the middle of the hook, I think. Yeah, so the music kind of cuts out and then this fill plays with left and... So I have these guitars panned left and right. And there's more guitar here. That's just kind of a little fill in between things. And then this is happening the whole time. This is like super Michael Jackson here too as well, I think. He's always got some like, someone grooving a steady rhythm on guitar. And then the last guitar line is here. That's like kind of a, like the sentence is finishing, and that's kind of like a finishing. Yeah. So that's all the guitar together. You can kind of hear the different layers. And then that with all the synths. And then with the music. Yeah, so there's a lot of layers between like percussion, drums, bass, synths, guitars, and then last but not least, you have to have effects. This is like in between sections, like things that will lead you into the chorus and then lead you back into the verses. So here's like the first kind of transition sound here. That one, I think I found on Splice, I'm pretty sure. Or, yeah, I think so. Either that or Machine. I use Splice, Machine, and sometimes YouTube has like free sounds, but it's a lot more difficult because if you take it from YouTube, you usually have to do some form of editing or something to actually make it sound good or fit the song. And here are some other sounds here. There's a flute echo. I think it's in the second rap. And that just kind of keeps going for a while. And then this next,
delay.
Yeah, this next patch of transition sounds. So that's 3 layers of sounds. That's the first one here. Another one. And the third one. And together it sounds like... I don't know, I looked through probably a bunch of different sounds on the machine and Splice and YouTube, and usually I'm playing the song in the background of me choosing samples. Like the song is on loop and I just go through stuff, and if it fits, and I'll keep it. And I'll probably maybe choose like 30 different samples, but at the end of it, maybe I only choose like 3 or 4. And so these were kind of the ones that I felt like it was perfect for that section.
That part is like your rap is coming in.
Yeah.
So it's almost feel like after people singing and then you open the blind, there's another rapper.
Yeah.
It almost kind of feels
exactly.
Like that.
The way that you sink your teeth in my skin, I can feel the venom magnify my sins, making me numb like I'm on.
Just kind of like a really cool, mysterious introduction to the next section. The main vocals on the hook is actually 2 melodies.
Yeah.
So like, it actually worked out perfectly because Amuyi is like really taking up a lot of the high end. You know, she's got this kind of like high, strong projected voice, and Susie's got more of a layback but more mid-tony. So neither one of them covered each other, which was great for mixing, and they just really complemented each other as far as like the melodies. And I think it's almost like counterpart melody writing. It came out really nice. I don't think it was intentional, but it came out really good. It's almost like, who's the harmony? Neither one is the harmony. And I was able to like, Amuyi is panned a little bit to the right and Susie's panned a little bit left, just like barely.
Yeah.
So that they've kind of got their own space in the mix, and then all the harmonies are panned out even further so they don't cover each other in the mix too much.
You're worse than a brutal infection. The shit won't end well, it won't end well. 时空岸边的海鸟偷走一夜，周旋的鱼没了血丝。
And then there's Amuyi on the ad-libs. She was just kind of like really into it, doing like that, the breathing and stuff like that. Here.
The poison that's crawling in my skin. 混乱是脑袋超在抗拒。都是。
She like breathed a few times and I thought it was really cool, so I copy and pasted it to make this rhythm with the breathing. So that's in there too, and I think it adds so much like groove and texture to the whole thing. Again, this is one of those things where like you might be in the car or you might be wearing headphones and you might realize like, oh, there's something else going on here. There's like a breathing or something in there. I had to kind of like fit that in somehow. So I copy and pasted it on like her breathing in and out onto the beat of the song. So here is the first rap section here. And I can just solo that and play that for you to hear the lyrics a little better.
The way that you sink your teeth in my skin, I can feel the venom magnify my sins, making me numb like I'm on K-pins. The burn in my veins is making me cringe. Every argument that you have to win, I can feel my mind start to cave in. The love dissipates and the hate fades in. Is it really love that you're trying to take in? But I can tell by the look in your eyes that everything you say is straight up lies, and that's the truth that you just can't deny. But I'm moving on, it's time for me to fly. Ready to be me, ready to be free. Hope that you see the pain you caused me, that's why you lost me. Quit leaning on me, won't answer my phone, so don't don't call me.
Yeah, I forgot. I also automated the reverb tail on some words, so that's where you heard like that kind of like deep reverb come in.
想太多，其实我的极限，就放空，假装不曾看见，焦虑感埋没大脑视线 ，You're driving me crazy. Yeah, looking at the mirror， 原来那是我自己 ，Dancing with the devil， 偷走我的旋律。It's everywhere, the shit wanted it got me. How would you feel if you were such a girl like me?
Everywhere I go, I'm looking up. Wanna
I love that she did that scream at the end too.
Yeah. 这边我们这一段他说想太多侵蚀我的极限，就放空，假装不曾看见，焦虑感埋没大脑视线，就好像你就是在中了这个病毒的过程，你已经完全感受不到原本的自己。但是我觉得比较有趣，就像刚刚 Phil 说的，他最后有点像是我们需要已经中毒中得很深，但与其你就是很负面的去面对你现在有了这个关系，还不如就是舒压的把它跳掉。所以后来他在录音的时候，我觉得现场我们就即兴出说，我们可以有一段比较欢呼尖叫，好像是2000 girls， like girls group， 有点像是 Y2K 的那种感觉。And then you put it inside was pretty nice.
Yeah. And my last rap verse is just my life kind of after leaving you.
Everywhere I go, I'm looking up. Wanna come with me, try to go and get it up. Keep up with the speed that I've been moving up.
Basically saying like I've already passed you, I'm already moving on, and I'm so far gone that there's no way you can catch up. So like the first verse and most of this song is like the infection itself, a bad relationship. And then I threw in my second verse is like, all right, since I'm gone and I know now you want to be with me, but it's too late. So yeah, I think that's the entire song from arrangement and everything. And the mix of it, as I mentioned earlier, the important thing is that groove. Drums up front. If you want to hear more vocal, then drums and vocals are gonna really take up most of your mix, and that's why some of the other elements like Amuyi's breathing, some of the synthesizer and guitar, sometimes you don't really hear it until you listen like really well. But I think that's the cool part. Not everything has to stick out. Sometimes things can be like a little subliminal message, like you don't really know it's there and it makes you play it again and you're like, oh man, this sound is really cool. So yeah, we chose the groove and vocals to be up front, and everything else just kind of fills in the space. It's like wide and also deep.
Yeah, 听完了 Infection, all the breakdown of the songs. 如果你们还想要听更多的话 please don't hesitate to contact us or coming to our Spotify, IG, YouTube, Facebook 按赞小铃铛。我们最近会release 我们已经 release 2支 live session 了。
The production is very different. We have a bass player from Korea, Soo-jung, and Henry on keys, so they kind of add a lot of different flavor to the live session. And yeah, as Susie said, feel free to reach out to us. I think one thing that makes us unique as a band is we also produce so many different artists around the world. So yeah. If you like our music, come listen. If you want to make music, hit us up.
Come hang. 那我们最新的演出会是7月18在乐悠悠，当天的演出会非常酷，是没有舞台的，所以我们会在中间，那观众会围绕着我们，就会感觉像是你们也是我们的一部分。Yeah， 好，拜拜。我们是本内，我是 Susie，
我是 Phil，
下次见，
谢谢。